Never did I imagine that at 37 I would have a $10 million home, Truesdale States, 90210 zip code, one of my dream zip code when I used to come and paint houses with my dad. Now I have a better home than the home that we used to paint because this is up in the hills.
I'll tell you guys something crazy, but knowing how to say no. I feel like so many people don't know how to say no to things. That happens to all of us. I've been a victim of that, trying to make things happen that aren't going to be beneficial to you as far as where you're trying to go. Right?
Yeah, and it's the first time you find somebody is not ethical, somebody is not loyal, you gotta cut him like that right away. Hey guys, welcome to Driven Couples. We're here in our new house. Are you excited?
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
So what do you have to say about the view?
I can't wait to have parties here, and the view is amazing. I'm super excited. It's gonna be so much fun and a totally new chapter in our life for sure.
Yeah.
Especially with all these restrictions, we want to be able to be free to have our company events, and whoever wants to come can come, and whoever doesn't want to come until all of this blows over, then they don't have to come. So
I'm really excited to talk about building a real company, building a real business. But before this, we were checking out a place in Malibu for Driven 4. So it's 99% final. We just have to decide. There's 1% chance we move it from Malibu, but it looks like it's going to be in Malibu. And we have a lot of surprises to tell you about this place, but once we make it official, we'll let you guys know in the next Driven Couples. But it's definitely going to be here in LA. So if you guys haven't gotten your flight and you're still waiting, it's going to be here in LA. So go get your ticket. Los Angeles, somewhere in LA. Malibu's still LA County, right?
Yeah.
So we were speeding from Malibu all the way here. And then we have no furniture, and I just wanted to do it here because I wanted to be in the new house. Look at how relaxing it is.
Yeah,
it's huge. It's nice. Our people haven't even seen the house, but we were in Malibu, and you were like super sweaty, and then you wanted to go and change and freshen up, so it made us a little bit late. So it was kind of your fault.
Well, I'm not gonna be super sticky, and it was so hot, and I already had enough. Our AC went out in Vegas, so it was crazy, with our 2 kids, and I'm like, okay, this is just how it goes. So you kind of just have to work through all the craziness sometimes. We were trying to find a venue in Vegas, but everything we looked at wouldn't work. And Vegas, I don't like Vegas personally. I really don't. It's just there's nothing to do. I don't gamble. The shows are probably the best part, and they're shut down. So that wasn't gonna work. So yeah, I don't even want to think about that day. It was crazy. But
yeah. So this is like a dream house, like it's all up in the hills. When it's a clear day, you guys can see like everything. Yeah. So we literally had to go pick up these little couch seats, this table from 10,000, and that way we could have somewhere to like sit and all that. But it's a combination of a lot of things that we've done. Like first of all, like being ethical. Like before, I wasn't ethical all the time. I used to find shortcuts. I used to lie. I used to do things like that, and then once I became ethical, number 1, everything started falling into place. Okay. And then number 2, I went back to working hard, having work ethic. Back then, I started work. I was always a hard worker. However, like when I started hanging out with people that wanted to do drugs, I started doing drugs. When I started hanging out with people that wanted to go out every weekend, I was going out every weekend. And people wanted to go out with a bunch of women, I started doing that. And little by little, I just got my priorities changed, and it was just bad. I went back to just working extremely hard, and then also the attitude. You have to have the right attitude. Having the right attitude gets you really far. So whenever you show up to work and maybe maybe still pissed me off, or something happened to you, you're maybe hungover, whatever, you still have to show up to work positive with the right attitude, because a customer comes in, they're going to see that. So no matter how you feel, no matter if I'm tired or you're tired, or we had so many things going on, we're flying maybe tonight.
Oh no, not tonight.
Maybe we're flying early in the morning, and we have our kids, we're taking nanny, and everything's like crazy, but nobody cares about that. You just have to show up with the right attitude. And then number 4, loyalty. like people that are loyal with us, like, dude, we're gonna take them to the top. Like, this is gonna be a multi-billion-dollar company, and people here that are loyal, they're gonna get a piece of it.
Yeah.
So I'm really, really excited about all that.
I would say, if I can add something to what you're saying, our life, aside from we've always worked really, really extremely hard, obviously we grow each year to be smarter and better, but knowing how to say no. I feel like so many people don't know how to say no to things. That happens to all of us. I've been a victim of that, you know, trying to make things happen that aren't going to be beneficial to you as far as where you're trying to go, right? Like, family calls you on the weekend, your friends, people that have nothing really to offer you. And think about it. How often do you say no? Like, I'm going to stay home and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to do this. That's going to help me get to the next level. A lot of the times we just want to please everybody, and you never get anywhere like that. So the minute you learn how to say no to things and value your time, that's when things start to change. And also having the right people around, because somehow we've just, the right people seem to keep falling into place for us. And I love that. You know, a lot of great things take time. So if you're working on something and it gets frustrating, just keep going, keep working, keep grinding, keep showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it, because that's when things start to change. And you know, you build this momentum and hustle muscle, and you have to have the right attitude, because a lot of the times if you don't have the right attitude, things are just not going to work out. Think about it. You don't have to be the smartest. You do have to have a good attitude to get to certain places. But I've been in situations where I'm like, man, if I would have just maybe not emotionally responded or whatever, you know, it would have been such a different outcome. And now with experience, I've learned how to handle certain situations and personalities and people. And not only that, learning how to identify certain personalities, you know, because at least for me, I don't know about you, sometimes people will say something in your ear and you're like, okay, and it starts to get to you and to get to you. And if you're different or things aren't going your way, like, analyze your life and figure out why. Because that's also a very hard thing to do, and learn how to cut people out.
Yeah, and it's you know, the first time you find somebody is not ethical, somebody is not loyal, you gotta cut them like that right away. The best time to fire somebody is the first time you think about it.
Yeah.
The first time to get rid of somebody, the first time you think about getting rid of somebody, you got to get rid of those people. And it's taken us, like, for every 10 people that we talk to, one of them gets hired. And then from the people that we hire, like, this is what happens. You're going to run into people when if you're in a company and you have, maybe you're an employee and you have other staff members, other employee members, or if you're a manager or an owner and you have your company and you have maybe 5 employees, maybe 10 employees, you're gonna find that some of them are not gonna be able to grow with you. Yeah. So when you start growing too fast, and when your standards are so high, and you're operating in such a fast pace, and you're just growing exponentially, some members are not gonna be able to handle this fast pace, this fast growth. And they're going to want to be with people that are average. And we are not average. You know, we don't tolerate average. We want great people. There's a lot of other companies out there that are looking for average people. Average people like to hang with average people. Lions like to hang out with lions. Like my boy Jomar was saying, he's not a sheep. Like all these average people, there's a lot of average people out there. 99% of people are average, but we're looking for greats. And it's going to happen sometimes as you grow and you add another person to your army. You're going to find that some people are not going to be able to operate at your speed. They're not going to be able to operate at your demands. They're not going to be able to tolerate that. So they're going to break, and it's all right. Maybe it's not for them. You're growing too fast, and they have to find another place that's going to operate at their speed, at their level. Yeah. So that happens totally fine. What I recommend all of you to do is, hey, you know what? Leave in good terms. Just be like, hey, you know what? I'm glad to have you, to have had you for all this time. You helped a lot to get to a level, but remember that your same army that gets you to a certain level is not going to get you to that higher level. And you either grow with us or you find another average place, and that's totally fine. So that's going to be critical to your business. And also systems. When you have your systems in place, which is what I want to talk about today, but I want you to add something to that. But systems, when you have systems, everything is autopilot. You make your revenue increases on the autopilot. And when somebody leaves, easily replaceable because they just fit into the new system. Those of you guys watching us on Instagram, text that number for the link. We're going to cut you guys off because our battery's dying or whatever. We have to stick to our Zoom members. We're going to be answering questions here. Today is about building a solid, real business. So see you guys next time. Text that link and you continue to watch it. And just systems. I want to talk about systems before marketing. But how do you feel about people like when they can't handle the pace of the company just growing exponentially? Like, what's your way to combat that or to fix that?
Well, aside from hiring someone more qualified, because again, I was talking to somebody today in the company, and I'm pretty good at screening people, but I've made some mistakes, right? And it's important to give people that really want the opportunity, that have a good attitude, because everything else you could learn. You know, you need initiative, you need certain things like that. But what we've been doing now is not only making our systems better, because it's really hard and it depends on who's reading and who's handling, who's executing, but writing everything down and tweaking things as you go, because we're running into so many different problems now. It's different kinds of problems. So you have to be able to pivot. Like, how do you fix this? Why did this happen? How is this happening? Why did this happen? But you need help. It's like, we can't do everything. You know, as much as I would love to, because then, you know, I'll sit there and perfect everything. There's just not enough time. Like today was, actually, these last couple of days have been crazy. Like, I'm a little bit out of it. Just
we're already used to it, though. We're used to it.
Yeah,
it's our new life. But it's like, you want to stay super busy, super productive, and have millions in the bank? Or do you just want to work your normal 10 hours a day and go home and relax in the house and have your free time and be broke? Like, it's going to be your choice who you want to be. And if you want to be average, totally fine. But if you want to build a $1 million business or a multi-million or even further a multi-billion-dollar business, then hey, guess what? I've never met somebody that did that working average time. Like you have to have work ethic.
Well, don't stop until you're done. That's what I always say.
Yeah, I mean, we're used to all this. Like we find a way to get this energy. Like I think this is kind of unhuman. Like only the 0.001% are able to do what we do.
Yeah.
But look at this house. It's a $10 million home. And it's a dream.
We'll show it to you guys in a video because I still have to like paint walls and do things. And
I mean, never did I imagine that at 37 I would have a $10 million home, Truesdale States, 90210 zip code, my dream zip code when I used to come and paint houses with my dad. Now I have a better home than the home that we used to paint because this is up in the hills.
I'll tell you guys something crazy. So, do you remember when you used to make me run up the goddamn hill, like to work out and do sprints? This is like right around here. Cuando me hacías correr, and he'd like take me to through like weird streets, and that's one of the streets right down by Sunset.
Oh yeah.
So, do you know what I'm talking about? The area,
when we used to go to hike.
We would leave. I don't even know where.
Park the car
and go hike.
The trail, yeah.
Because it's important to visualize what you want while you work to get there. And we would always look at nice houses. And, you know, next time, you know, you're with your significant other or even by yourself, like go drive around the place you want to be.
Remember we used to drive around here?
Yeah.
We used to drive around here.
Yeah.
Now we're going to have our 2 Ferraris parked right there, our Rolls Royce. We're getting the other Rolls cooling in, and we have the Suburban that the AC doesn't work.
But we got to get them for business purposes, not just because we need more cars, because we don't.
The cooling is $500,000. It saves us $500,000 in taxes, so it's all strategy. But you don't know that if you don't have the right information. So going back to it, I want to talk a little bit about Driven because I'm really excited. Driven is going to be in the month. Month. Yes, the 18th and 19th. Yeah. Those of you that are part of the CEO ticket, you guys are going to be the day before. We're going to meet, and I think we have 50 CEOs or 55, something like that. 50 CEOs. You guys are going to spend the day before that. Ooh. You guys are going to spend the day before Driven.
I know it didn't break.
Your phone just tried. Let's see if it cracked. really quick. Did it crack?
Yeah.
I think it cracked.
No.
It didn't crack. Oh, perfect. So let's not put it right there. Yeah. So shifting from that, her phone just fell, but it didn't crack.
That's okay.
So those of you that are CEO ticket holders, you are going to meet with me and Bobby Castro and Brad Lee the day before, and I'm going to have maybe a few more surprises. We're going to meet somewhere like in the early evening, and we're going to spend that whole like 3 hours. We're going to mastermind. It's going to be private meeting. I'm going to show you my operation. So we're all going to go to the corporate office. We're going to go through every department. I'm going to show you everything, how we track, how we do everything. And then we're going to spend like one-on-one time with Bobby, with, like I said, Brad, a few surprises that we're going to have. And we're going to just go straight into business development. My 4 principles, which are sales, systems, marketing, and training. So we're going to go over all that. After that, we're going to go have a VIP super special dinner. Us 50 CEOs with obviously Brad and Bobby and Sophia and Sil, and it's gonna be cool. We're gonna bond, and I just want to show you everything very, very transparently. Like, come and see my operation, see my office, see where I work at, see my desk, see all this, and that way it'll give you kind of an idea of how I started, where I went next, and where I am today with my operations and daily operations in the office. And then the next day, for those of you that are super VIP and every other ticket holder, the next day we're going to have the normal full day driven event, which is going to consist of the speakers and everything else. And yeah, it's going to be very, 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 very awesome. Like I said, we are going to show you guys exactly why systems operations go before marketing. So.
And it's really important to understand that they're not going to be perfect from the beginning. So you just have to keep tweaking until you get the right formula, the right systems down. Somebody's knocking. How weird. We have our first visitor.
Yes, we have our first visitor.
So weird. But yeah, guys, I'm super, like, I'm so excited that I can't even be excited, because literally we came. Like, it's just been like that I don't even have time for like emotions. It's kind of like down to business, what he says, valuing every single minute. Like right now I miss my kids. I'm like, I want to go home. But I'm excited to design this place.
And like so it's completely empty. We still have to furnish it and everything. We're going to show you like pictures later, videos. But today I was coaching a guy. I was a guy came over. I was coaching him.
I talked to him after.
Yeah, and he was. We're talking about like his business, because he just started his own business, and he wanted to know about marketing and real estate investing and all that stuff. And I told him, hey, don't focus on real estate investing right now. Right now is not the time to focus on real estate investing. Like I was telling Jomar in the past, like, hey, you have a beautiful business there where you could make millions of dollars. So let's focus on making those millions of dollars. You could buy real estate 2021. Real estate is not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Let's focus on building that bank account to $1 million, to $2 million, and then you're going to have so many options to buy a bunch of real estate. So this guy that I was coaching earlier, he was telling me like, I want to invest in real estate, and he's barely starting his business.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have his systems in place. So I told him, hey, don't market right now, because you don't want to scale chaos. Like, you're going to scale chaos. And I made that mistake. Remember, I started marketing with my Ferrari. I got a bunch of attention. I got a bunch of recruits. We started getting all this business, and we didn't have systems in place. And then we created chaos. Remember? You were going crazy. We were getting so much business, but we couldn't handle it because we didn't have our systems in place. So we learned that after, when Patrick was like, oh, do you have your systems in place? What are your operations like? And he was telling me like, do you have your mission statement? And Albert. So what does your company manual look like? And I'm like, operations manual, company manual. What is that?
He calls it a playbook.
So I didn't have any of that. So he said, Albert, here, you're going to read this book, Principles by Ray Dalio. You're going to read it with your top level executive team and partners, and you're going to go on a getaway for a weekend, and you're going to write a report. You're going to write all your operations manual. You're going to write all your systems from start to finish. I asked them, what are systems? Everything in life is a system. So like when you wake up, you have a system for the morning. You have a system for relationships. You have decision-making systems. and just like you have it in personal life, you need that
Sequences.
for your business. So every department in your business, when a client comes in, what is your system like? When a client comes in, we're gonna have our front desk girl, Claudia. She's gonna call them and she's gonna let them know, hey, by the way, Richard. So
Oh my
by the way, Richard, we have your
I hear your mom.
yeah. So there you go. Thank you, Omar, for sharing your wisdom with us. However, now moving on, systems. You have to create your systems. So Claudia, our front desk girl, is going to call Rich. Hey, Richard, I know you're coming for an appointment with Albert. You know, we're going to have your parking reserved. You're going to turn on Sunset and make a right, and you're going to go in there. You're going to see your name for you to park. And then from there, when you come up, it's going to be P10. And then when they come in, their name is on the screen. They get invited into the conference room. They say, here, welcome to the mortgage guys. Welcome to Driven Enterprises. Welcome to Ambiance. And, you know, they greet them, and then they ask you, would you like something to drink? Would you like this and that and that? Then I walk in, I take care of them, and then we take a picture. Like all of that sequencing is a system. And we have a system for every single thing in our business. We didn't have that before. So before you start focusing on marketing or investing, before you invest, focus on making money and building your business to making millions. Mm-hmm. And then you start investing. When you have all that extra money and your business is making money on autopilot.
Because
don't
it's
market
so much easier
until you have your systems in place.
It's so much easier, like when you have a lot of money saved up, to be able to like pick up a property, and then just grow your portfolio from there. Because you need money. You just need cash. You need money, and you need to be able to create that money.
Yeah.
To then take it to be able to invest in these properties to create passive income.
And I was also talking to one of my other coaching, what's his name? From Puerto Rico, Steph? Daniel, right? Yeah, so Daniel and Naida, entrepreneurs from Puerto Rico. So I was talking to them, and he was saying, hey, I saw your post. You said you have to have 30 months of reserves. If not, like you're going to go out of business 99.9%. And I said, yes. And he said, is that why you told me don't invest in real estate right now? Focus on my business. I said, absolutely, yes. Because people don't realize that when you start a business, you're going to be close to going out of business 100 times. And if you don't have those reserves, you're going to go out of business. We didn't have a bunch of cash saved up, but we had a bunch of property saved up. And what we started doing was, like, we got into trouble, I sold this house, pulled that money out. And then I got into more trouble, I refinanced. There were times where, like, no kidding, you know, like Friday, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to meet payroll this Friday. And we have like 4 or 5 employees. I'm like, and then all of a sudden I make a sale Thursday and payroll clears. Or one of our properties gets sold and, we have that money and we survive. And you guys see right now, like, Albert, but now you have 12 flows of income, your lifestyle, the $10 million home. You have TMG that's making millions a month. You have Ambiance Realty. You have Driven Event Cash Flow. You have Driven Bootcamp. You have your personal Driven coaching. You're making money now with Driven Academy, 60 grand a month. You have your real estate investing. You have your YouTube channel that's making money now. You have a credit repair business. You have a processing business. You have an escrow company now. You're Driven Fitness. You're working on the gym, but before I started a new cash flow, a new business, I made sure that TMG, the mortgage guys, was running on autopilot. I made sure that Ambiance was running on autopilot. We have an unbelievable girl named Liz that handles she handles all the systems for Ambiance.
Yeah.
TMG running on autopilot. Driven Event. It did so good that we created a Driven Bootcamp. Then we started doing Driven Coaching, and we just started growing from there. But you have to go back and think about, like, when you started, Albert, everything wasn't perfect. You guys were living, people used to tell me and make fun of me, Albert's faking it. Albert could barely pay his Ferrari. Albert lives paycheck to paycheck. You were absolutely right. If you're watching this, you're right. Like, I was living paycheck to paycheck. I was about to go out of business and my credit was fucked up.
But didn't give up.
But the difference between me and you is that you were a quitter. You were a little bitch, and I continued. And now people see, oh, now he got a watch that's hundreds of thousands of dollars, and now you're still hating. You're still hating. But look, remember, haters, they wish they had your life. They see their dream life in you, and they're just always gonna stay there. The moment you have no haters, that's going to be a bad sign, because that's going to mean you're not successful. Nobody hates on people that are not successful. Nobody hates on average people. People hate on successful people. People hate when people see like, oh, look at Albert and Sil. They look at their team. They just brought in new people and they're growing. Now they have over 300 people in the company. They're jealous. And some of those people, they just can't hang with lions, like Jomar says. They're sheep, so they got to go hang out with other sheep, and that's totally fine. There's a lot of space for sheeps out there, but what do you have to add to that?
Well, you always have to be improving, guys, and a lot of the times we're resistant to it, right? You don't want to make the changes. We all know what we have to do, but we don't do it because it's more fun, or instant gratification is better, instead of avoiding doing some certain things to get the long-term reward. And most people won't do that. You hang around with the people you want to be like. And that took me a lot of years to understand, and one toxic person in your life, one can completely destroy all your dreams. Just one. That's all it takes. That person's like, no, you can't do it. Or the person that's always gossiping about other people. And you have to just stay away from that. You have to identify it and stay away from it. There's something called a vampire personality. I learned this somewhere, which I'm not going to say where, but
why not?
Doesn't make the person necessarily bad.
Why can't you say it?
It's just that's how they are. That's how they are.
Say it.
They're full of, insecurities, their own BS, and they thrive from gossiping about other people.
On my dropping bombs.
Gossiping about other people, or saying things to people that are gonna create a certain result. And now I just identify it and I don't participate. It's that simple. I'm all about empowering people. If you're down to ride and like to go make things happen, I'm all about that life. And I don't want any toxic, any negative. I don't care who it is. I don't care how long the person has been in my life. I do not care, because I just don't have time for that anymore. And I want a happy, better life. I want to keep getting better every day. I want to have like amazing people around me that are happy to be thriving and succeeding, and that are open what is it called? Constructive criticism. You should be able to take that in, because if somebody tells me, okay, how could I be better, and maybe I didn't communicate something effectively, I'm all about that. And I'll be the first to admit, sometimes I come off strong, because it's like I have been through so much that I don't want to hear your bullshit excuse. I do not want to hear it. And you shouldn't allow yourself to have bullshit excuses, because people have it rougher and they make it.
And one of the things that you're going to learn in that Principles book by Ray Dalio, which is the first book you got to read, is going to be how to be bluntly transparent with your team.
Yeah.
So like if it makes life so much easier, personal and work life. Like if I have a problem with Tony. You guys haven't met Big T. He's like 6'7". He's on the marketing team, and like if you have a problem with Tony, or Tony has a problem with Steph, or vice versa, like you go and you tell them directly, like, hey, you know what? I have a problem with the way you told me this. You hurt my feelings, Steph. And then they talk, but like the wrong way to do it is like for like Tony to come to Sil and be like, hey, Sil, Steph said this.
Yeah.
And then it starts spreading, and then Tony goes and tells Jesus, Steph said this. So then it starts going like this way. Then it creates triangulation. Then the message gets just distorted, and you don't want that. And then people that are gossipers in the office, you got to kick those people in the face.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You can't kick them in the face.
Yeah, well.
You kindly, not participate. Like, have you told the person that already? And when we started incorporating that, like everything just changed, because gossip, drama, it takes a lot of energy away from you that doesn't allow you to focus on the good things, right? Which is improving, getting better, getting smarter, attracting the right people. And that's just what we're all about. And I love it.
Yeah. And guys, driven, for those of you that are part of the CEO, just come ready with to take a lot of notes, because we're gonna go over like systems, like how to create your systems, how to create your manual for operations.
Different things.
That's gonna be that's it's called CEO ticket, because it's more for people that are either CEOs, want to become CEOs, or maybe you're the manager in your office and you want to learn all these systems, operations, because that comes before you start marketing. Because remember, you market and you don't have your systems in place, you're going to end up getting 50 extra deals. You're going to do a bad job because you're not going to be able to give them A+ service. You're going to lose them all, and then you're going to get criticism. They're going to talk bad about you, give you bad reviews. So just be ready for all that. And remember that once you start getting that momentum, never lose it. Because just think about playoffs. Like, let's say NBA, basketball. When it's not always the best team that wins. It's the team that goes into the playoffs with the highest momentum. Yeah. When you have momentum, even if you're an average team, but you have that momentum, you're going to beat that first top level team with all the superstars, because you built momentum and you're thriving on that momentum. So if you get momentum in your business, that's why we're here doing this Driven Couples. That's why we're like running from place to place. That's why we're going on this trip with people that are high net worth people. One of the guys, he focuses, his expertise is on private equity. So guess what? This guy is going to help us increase the valuation of the company. Yeah. We have an investor ready to cut a check for a huge number, okay, for like $70+ million for a piece of this company, and it's in the works. So a lot of great things are happening, but remember, in the beginning, I was 100 times close to going out of business. Everybody made fun of my credit. Everybody made fun of my living paycheck to paycheck, of me barely even being able to afford the Ferrari. But like I said, when people do that, don't give up. As long as you don't quit, you're going to become very, very successful. Because remember, once you quit once, it becomes really easy to quit every single time something gets hard. You go crying to your mommy like a baby. You don't want to do that. I think we have a question, Steph. Aaron, you're going to unmute him, or he's going to unmute himself? Huh?
Hi, this is Janet and Aaron, and I have a question for you guys regarding education. Prior to reading Poor Dad, Rich Dad, I was very strong about my son going to college. Obviously, after reading that book, it changed my mind. So my question to you guys, how do you feel about your daughters going to school? And what are you guys doing to make sure your daughters succeed in life?
Do you want me to answer that? I can answer that.
You're in charge of that.
So, personally...
And that's also like one of the things that we have. She's in charge of the kids, and I'm in charge of finances. She's in charge of operations. I'm in charge of marketing and opening my big mouth.
We each have our own roles, but the kids... So recently, we made a few changes as far as, who was going to take care of our kids, because the most important part about having children is being able to raise them so that they are good humans, so that they do something amazing with their life. And us as moms or grandparents, family members, they want to enable kids and, oh my God, and we're not like that at all. Like, our parenting style is completely letting my kid be, literally. I don't let her get hurt. But what we do is inject confidence into her. Like, my daughter is she'll be like, oh, I'm going to get 5 cookies, one for you, one for you, one for you. She names them. Like, she's very smart. But I let her, and confidence, a kid with confidence is going to go to so many places. I let her, like, at In-N-Out, for example, and it's those little lessons. I roll down her window and she orders her own food, because, you have to teach them early on to be not only confident, but self-reliant and very independent, and Italia is that because of the way we've raised her. With Italia, we actually had a lot more time bringing her to the office, because now she's just a wild little child. She wants to be all over the place. She literally goes to every department, and she knows everybody that we have at the company, and it's super cute, but it's also a distraction. So I try not to take her a lot to the office, but I do like to expose her to speaking to grown-ups. Like, she doesn't speak like a little baby. I do use very complicated words with her, if that makes any sense. Like she'll be like, "Mommy, I can't decide," and she speaks very well. Our school systems, unfortunately, from what I've researched, I still have a little bit more time. We're leaning more towards homeschooling her and making sure, she knows perfect Spanish right now, obviously perfect English, and hiring a tutor very, very soon. That's my personal opinion. Again, every parent is entitled to their own, opinion or whatnot, and also depending on your means or what you guys can afford. So it's just doing the best that you can, but remember that everything starts at home. So the worst thing you can have is a kid that just like you baby them so much they don't know how to live. All the people that I know that are successful, they had to figure out a lot of things. Me, for example, I'm not saying I'm the smartest or the most successful, but I have a lot of initiative. I'm great at problem solving, and I just make things happen. I don't allow myself like, oh no, like I'm like, okay, how could I do these 20 things in this little amount of time? And I feel, being the oldest of 5, at a very early age, I had to learn like, okay, how am I gonna feed my brothers and sisters with $10 that my mom would leave us for food, literally? And I'm like, some days it was Jack in the Box, some days it was Little Caesars. Like, I had to figure it out. And when you don't let your kids figure things out on their own, and mommy's there and daddy's there, and then we don't not spoil our kids. Like Italia, I create little charts for her, and they're like good deed charts or different kinds of charts, literally depending on what I'm trying to teach her. And
she's working on that bicycle, right?
Yeah, she's working on getting a bicycle. She's so funny. But, and I tell her this is what it costs, this is what it is. Because when you, like, I get it. Okay, all kids, if they want to go to college, they can all work and go to college. If not, they have too much time on their hands. And what happens is you're enabling them. Because as I've told actually a couple people that work at the company, I'm like, it's different when you don't live with your mommy and daddy. When you actually realize that water, electricity, utilities, insurance, gas, none of that is free. And guess what? If your mommy's not there to give you money, or your daddy, you're going to find a way, if you want to drive, to go get a job wherever while you're doing your entrepreneur stuff. Because nobody wants to work for anybody. I'm like, who cares? As long as you have money. Like, if we lost everything and I had to go back to being a waitress and a bartender, you better believe that I would do it. Like, I would.
Yeah, and then to add to that, Robert Kiyosaki was telling me, we were having a conversation. He was saying, Albert, the best thing that ever happened to you was 2008 when you lost everything. That's the best thing that happened to you, because you could come back. And that's when a lot of people are mistaken. They're confused intrapreneurs. So let me explain what an intrapreneur versus an entrepreneur is. Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur today. Everybody wants to be a CEO. Everybody wants to go open up their own business. But let me give you a name, okay? Like Microsoft. You guys know Microsoft. You guys know Bill Gates, one of the richest people in the world. He was the richest person in the world for many years, until Jeff Bezos passed him. And he was one of the co-founders of Microsoft. He had another co-founder. He was not the only one. So people think, I got to be a CEO or a founder to be a millionaire or a multimillionaire. But you guys forget about somebody that was an employee, that his name is Steve, I think his last name is Ballmer or Palmer. He is worth $60 billion, and he was an employee for Microsoft. Yeah. He was an employee from Microsoft, and he is a perfect example of an intrapreneur. He was working for Bill Gates, but then ended up being the second richest person that came out of Microsoft. So sometimes if you find a great leader, a great CEO that is carrying a business, he already went through the hundreds of times of going out of business. Why not partner up with this person and keep growing as a family, as a team, as an army, and maybe you'll end up being 1% owner of $1 billion. What's 1% owner of $1 billion? That's $10 million. $10 million, yeah. Not bad. But what if the company ends up being worth $2 billion and you end up being 5% owner of the company? Yeah. That is $100 million. So people want to go and start their own business, and they're not really entrepreneurs. They were meant to be intrapreneurs. And what happens to them? they have an average business and they probably make 80 grand a year. They probably make 250K a year, and they never grow it. And then sooner than later, they end up going out of business because they weren't meant to be entrepreneurs when they could have joined forces with somebody else and could have been worth 10 million, 100 million, or possibly billions, like this guy from Microsoft.
So let me finish. Yeah. Kids, how old are your kids?
My son is 13. It's my only son.
Okay. See, early on, you have to expose him to the type of mentality that isn't really school mentality, because in school they teach you how to, like, you know, do your taxes, obey, blah 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 blah. Like, it's not really like, this is how you go get a job, this is how you make money. They don't really teach you any of that stuff. And quite frankly, everything I've ever learned was literally just based on my own experiences, as far as getting thrown out there and figuring it out, like getting my first car, you know, things like that with my own money. So I would say expose him to, they even have a Rich Dad Poor Dad book for kids. Albert loves to give that to kids and put money in it, and he tells their parents, okay, when he's finished reading the book and does a book report, then you give them the money. Because believe it or not, you start exposing them to these things early on. Like Italia, she hears us, she's like, oh mommy, are you gonna do driven couples today? Like, she knows everything. Because I speak to her like a grown-up. I do not baby her. I don't treat her like a little kid. Kids are smart, and they're gonna be whatever you expose them to. Just remember, as moms, like, I know what it feels like you want to be like, oh mijo, you know, if Italia's not hurt her, she falls, I'm like, get up, you're okay, like, you're fine. Because you're not going to be like, oh my God, you fell. And then they freak out because they're like, what happened? So, you know, I would just kind of really do your research, because unfortunately our system is not the greatest. So. Correct.
Yeah, I definitely don't want him to go into college, get in debt, and not do anything with it. So that's why I wanted your advice to see how you guys felt about it and what's the best way to make sure he's ready for the world when he turns 18.
Yeah, just expose him, make him work. He wants money. Hey, this is what you got to do to get this much. Don't just give him everything so easily, because that's how kids end up confused.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. He's actually listening, and he's smiling. So thank you so much.
And also, like, just to tell you exactly who he is. So Ballmer, he's worth 71 billion actually, and he is the 11th richest person in the world. This guy was an employee in Microsoft. So this just tells you what combined forces can create. Like, you either think big or you think small, and it's your choice. And maybe you're the type of person that you want to create your own, you know, company and grow it. And if that's what you really want to do, then go for it. Go for it. As long as you don't quit, you might get a little far. But it's the biggest confusion that I see right now is that every single person wants to be a CEO and a entrepreneur, and they could be better off.
I'm like, I just want to be rich.
Being an intra, but
that's it. I don't care what I am.
You have a question from Lourdes. She does not want to ask, but she said, what do you guys consider a sheep?
A sheep is somebody that just follows the rules blindly and it's a follower. It's a follower, not a leader. So unfortunately, 99% of the people are sheep. Like, when you go see, like, an easy way to identify this is, and people might not like this, but when you go out in the public and you see people wearing a mask in the street, or even worse, wearing a mask when they're driving, that's an easy way to identify a sheep. So whenever I see somebody wearing a mask inside their car, I know that's a sheep. I'm like, well, dude, you're a sheep. You are very, very easily influenced by the media that wants to kill you and make you stupider. So just, you have to make sure you get your information from right sources. Like, when you guys see me, like, just, maybe you don't like me, maybe you're new to me, and you're like asking yourselves, why is this guy so blunt and so, like, maybe you guys think I'm arrogant sometimes because I'm confident, and because maybe I'm doing posts on Instagram because I'm marketing. I'm working on getting attention. Like, you guys know, like, this watch is actually to get attention. It's for marketing purposes. The cars, they were for marketing. I could barely afford them, but guess what? They made me so much money that I found out it works.
And if I can add to that, because I feel like sometimes he's a little bit mean, which is okay because everybody's entitled to however they are. So you have to understand that if something doesn't seem right, it probably isn't. And most people don't trust their instincts, like at all. And to me, it's kind of like ridiculous. I'm like, okay, like half of this is BS. Like it makes absolutely no sense. Like I don't care who's telling me to put on a mask. Like there's no scientific proof with everything that they're trying to make us do. And so many people are just so scared. Again, use your common sense, and you have to be brave enough to trust your instincts and then act on them, because you don't know who you might be helping, and it's like me, I always go with my gut instinct, and it always has worked out, because I don't care who or what people are telling me to do. If I don't believe in that, and I don't care who's telling me, I'm not going to act on it. I'm not. And that's just the way that I've always been, a rebel. But I use my common sense.
Yeah, and also, guys, watch the video, my podcast with Dr. Butar.
Yeah.
Watch that. It was like an hour and 30 minutes. He just explains how toxic it is to wear a mask. I mean, just think about it. Like, let me give you a very simple explanation. Why is it that the coronavirus is so smart? Mm-hmm. It's so smart that it knows to only attack when you're not sipping a drink, when you're not eating. Because you go to restaurants, okay, once you sit down, you're free to take your mask off, and you could eat. And then when we're walking around like the hotels in the pool, they're like, well, if you have an alcoholic drink, then it's okay to take your mask off. You don't have to wear it because you're drinking alcohol. So it's okay to, poison yourself with alcohol.
Yeah.
But it's not okay but you have to wear a mask if you're not drinking alcohol. And then how is it that you have to wear your mask to get into the airplane, and you have to keep 6 feet distance for social distancing, but then as soon as you sit down, you have a person to your right, 3 inches next to you, another person to your left, 3 inches next to you, and then you have a bunch of other people all around you.
And Costco's okay too.
and yeah, so they closed down the church, right? They closed down church, but then the weapon stores are open. So it's just a lot of these things that are going on. You kind of have to do your own research.
Yeah.
Stop watching the news and actually ask somebody like Dr. Butar, what is the reality that's going on here? Maybe look at somebody like Patrick Bet-David and watch, what is Patrick doing right now? Look at Bobby Castro. What is Bobby Castro doing right now? Like Albert, why are they all working? Why are they all so happy? Why are they everybody there is making their biggest bonus checks ever? Like, why are they working? And then you look at other people, sheep, that are like just watching the news and hiding with their little mask on, and they're broke.
I mean, it's kind of sad.
And then
the system
they're
is
easily
just
influenced.
Yeah.
They're weak-minded. So, hey, guys, and I say this because I want to help. So watch the interview, and it'll really, really open your eyes.
Again, I always encourage everybody, do your own research. Take the time, that's what I did with my daughter when it came down to vaccines. I was like, okay, 2 months are like, you have to do this. And I'm like, no, like I, first of all, have past experiences from clients and people that I know that have been horribly injured, if not died. Like, I'm not going to do that to my kid. That's what we have an immune system for. So the media should be saying, work out, eat better, stop eating junk food, processed food. Your body doesn't know what to do with it. And it's our job. It's nobody else's job to take care of your health. That's your job. And if you can't do something so simple, like control what you eat, how are you supposed to control anything else in your life? Like, let's just really think about that. Even like him and I, like, I love drinking. I love going out to dinners. And I'm not really I don't like fattening food. But yeah, once in a while, I want to eat like some pasta or something like that. But we have to control the drinking. Drinking's not that great for you, but it's fun. And I like being happy. Like, I do what makes me happy, him happy. And it just works. Because if you're not happy, how are you supposed to make other people happy? You can't. You got to take care of yourself.
Yeah, guys, so just do your research. Like, it's just ridiculous how, like, in Vegas, we're in the pool and you have to wear your mask. And they tell us...
And you got to play the part, too, sometimes.
And we got 3 or 4 warnings in the pool with Brad.
I'm like,
and they said they told us, sir, you have to pull down your mask when you bite your burger. And then as soon as you take it out of your mouth, you have to quickly cover your mouth again. It's just so stupid and ridiculous. But we have another question, right?
Okay, go.
Michelle.
Yes. Hi.
Mitch Campos.
Hi, Sil and Albert. How are you?
Ready to visit my new house?
Yes, I'm excited. God's good. You deserve it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, I have a question for you guys. So you live together, you work together all day, you're building this empire. How do you guys not get on each other's nerves?
Oh, we do get on each other's nerves a lot, but we don't take that home. Does that make sense? And we're honestly so busy, and remember, we're on the same team. Like sometimes he'll tell me and I'm just like frustrated, or we had like a crazy day, but I've learned how to control it because I now have learned to trust him so much. Before I'd be like, Albert, are you sure we can pull this off? Like, what the hell are you doing? Where are we going to get 250 grand for you know? And he's like, it's just going to work. It's going to work. It's going to work. Because his belief in himself, and then he knows he has me to back him up. It just works, you know, and I love him. Like, I love being with him. I love, like, being with our kids together. Like, I love seeing him with our daughters. Like, he's just amazing. Like, I seriously love him. Like, I cannot picture my life without him ever. Like, he's like my best friend. Like, we're dangerous together, girl. Like, we work just as hard as we do everything together, you know, but
like when I look for my life partner, he has to be in the same business as me because I feel like he's not going to understand my work ethic and what I put into this job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey guys, make sure you get a nice clip from what she was saying.
Shut up.
So like my answer, Mitch, is we're best friends.
Yeah.
So like we get in the best friends fight against each other, but in a good way.
Yeah.
You know, they get on their own nerves.
I'll be like, you could have done better.
But like,
it's like what?
But for example, like in the office at work, we're not a couple.
We're not married.
So like she starts telling me things where she's like, "Why'd you answer me cold like that, Albert?" And I'm like,
such a fucking liar.
And I'm like, "Look, you are not my wife right now, okay? I'm working." And I talk to her the same as I talk to anybody in our office because we're focused. We're like every minute you can't get back. And you got to remember that 5 p.m., most people sprint out of their office, their desk. You know, it's 5 p.m. and it's like, yay, 5 p.m. Let's fucking sprint out. And people run out. And then what happens? Now you can't do anything. Now I wanted to open this new escrow, or I wanted to start working on this file. It's too late. You got to wait till tomorrow at 8 or 9. So it's very important to not waste any company time by feelings or emotions. So that's what we're clear on that.
Yeah.
And she doesn't like it. Sometimes she gets mad, and I'm like, get mad.
De vez en cuando I do. I'm not gonna lie. We're not perfect.
She's left me and took off with the other car. She's like went to work in another department to not see me. But I'm totally fine with that. But to put like the main thing for me is that she's my best friend, and I'm not gonna hurt my best friend's feelings. That's why I'm not a cheater. That's why I'm not flirting with other women. That's why I'm not being unethical. I mean, I'm not perfect, but I try to be as ethical as humanly possible.
Yeah, we have permission to look at other people and things like that. Like, I don't care. In Puerto Rico,
and I'm human.
We have a 10-second rule
when I see a hot chick, I'm like, damn, this girl's hot. But but I'm also not gonna like slobber and like
I'll be like, damn, did you see like her ass? Like, how the hell do you think it's real? Like, because again, he's like my best friend. Obviously, like I always say this, I know girls get mad at this all the time, but I'm like, who cares? There's pretty people everywhere. There's all kinds of people. Like, guys are gonna look, it's okay. Like, just let them. If there's a fine line, like, you know, when there's a pervert and they're like, damn, like that's not okay. But obviously, if I see a pretty girl, I look at him because I'm like, I know he's gonna think she's hot. And it's crazy because there's people on social media that are just so bored and so confused. I keep getting messages and they're like, oh, your husband did this and that with this person. I'm like, yeah, right. If my husband ever cheated on me, like, no, I know he wouldn't. Does that make sense? Like, so I don't care. Like, I don't pay it any mind. I start blocking people. Like, it's just insane. Like, they have nothing to do. So you can't let those.
And it just works. Your guys' vision's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also Mitch, when I lost everything in 2008 because of cocaine and drinking and women and all that stuff, all my savings went on that. my priorities were all messed up. So when I started being ethical and all that, like everything started changing. And remember, 2008, she stayed in the Ford Explorer with me for a couple months.
I think that's amazing.
And
that says so much for her.
And yeah. And the reason why I wanted her to be the one to have that opportunity to stay in the Ford Explorer with me was because I'm just being funny, but I had my flow of like 7 chicks that I would go out with.
Here we go.
And I went one by one, and I'm like,
but
no.
I was the smartest one.
Yeah.
So
No, she was the coolest one.
and the smartest one. And the coolest
so she
one.
was smart. She was cool. She was the one that would be down to work out at 5 a.m. at the gym with me. She would go to late doc signings with me. She would sleep in the Ford with me. And all these girls, I just couldn't picture myself doing that. And most of them didn't want to go to the gym, didn't want to go to work. They wanted me to pick them up after I was done with everything. Mm-hmm. So she was just so cool that I said, she's like my best friend. So that's what was the biggest difference for me. So a best friend, you never want to hurt their feelings, right? Like if you have your best girlfriend, like you don't.
I feel like when you go through something like that, that's when you really realize who has your back and who's really down for you. Is a girl that didn't mind. Like when you're up, it's all fun and games and it's great. But when you're down, it's when it really matters.
Exactly. Right. And what he was saying, I would go to his doc signings. I was a realtor. But I was listening and I was learning. So guess what that did? It made me better when I was at my open houses without him. So I would screen people and not waste time with certain things, when if you don't have that knowledge, you're wasting time. So, everything is a win-win. It's just all about attitude and how much you're willing to really put in, because everybody wants to be successful. Pero están ahí de flojos y luego partying their life away on the weekends, and then Monday they're like slobs, and then they don't know why their life doesn't change. It's because you don't change. You are not changing.
You got to put in the work.
Yeah, and also, Mitch, really quick, we have one more question, right? Two more. Okay, so just really quick, Mitch, if you're gonna go drink, try to go drink with somebody that's doing better than you and smarter than you. Yes. Maybe go drink with a millionaire at least. Because guess what? This person, you're going to learn something from them. But if you're going to go party and drink with people that are dumber than you, you're wasting your time. Just because you want those people that are lower than you to be like, oh my God, you're so amazing. You're so great. Like, you don't need that. You need people to tell you, like, put you in your place. Like, Albert, why are you fucking up? Yeah. Like, you should be making this and you're not. You should be doing this and you learn stuff. Or if you have your team, go drink with your team. Like, take out your people and treat them and give them royal treatment and mentor them, help them. But don't go waste your time with people that are not worth it. Exactly. People that are just going to stroke your ego. Yeah. Like, I'm not interested in that. And
I'm not a big drinker, but what I have realized lately with just you guys mentoring me and me following you is that sitting on a table with a bunch of millionaires and successful people, you realize how different the conversation is.
Oh yeah, totally.
100%.
It's just wow.
Something funny, Michelle, that I'll end it with this, just so if you guys ever feel like, fuck, like I don't really have any friends, I had to cut out a few people from my life because I'm naturally a giver and I just try to make everything work. But I have high expectations. So if you don't get with the program and I have to repeat myself, it's like you can tell when people are really trying and when they're just done or when they're just not interested. And that's okay. But I had to literally be pretty lonely, like not lonely because I've always had him, so I don't really care. But, because we love to do the same things. It's weird. But for a while I was like, fuck, like I see all these girls and they have like 50 girls around them, but little do they know that they turn around and just talk smack. So I would rather be by myself than having all these friends, because it's very hard to count friends on your hands, and now I'm learning that. Yeah. And now it's like the people that I'm friends with, like it's crazy because it's a different conversation. They're happy for you. They're not like, oh, did you see that? Like when you turn around, and those are the kinds of people you want around. People that are going to help you level up, that have different conversations.
And it's all about relationships. The person that one of the couples that we're going to go on this trip to Wyoming, 4 days. We leave tomorrow. They're connected with the realtor for this house. So one relationship led to another relationship that led us to being in this house.
Yeah.
So when you hang out with people like that, doors open, opportunities open.
Yeah.
So it's always be looking for that relationship. You could be one relationship away from your life completely changing. And it's kind of like how we ended up together again. And now look at what we're doing. Now like you're getting all these escrows from our company, and it's just the beginning. Wait till we really start marketing it. Wait till you have your full team helping you. Like, it's going to be explosive.
Yeah, and it takes time. It takes time. I always tell people, 12 years later, here we are. And guess what? We work harder and harder that I'm like, how the hell are we going to keeping up? You know how? By having badasses on your team. People that you don't have to repeat everything to every goddamn day because they cannot write something down to save their life. Like, it's just enough. You know, the more capable people you have around you, the easier things get as far as not having to worry about the little BS stuff.
And also remember, just one final thing, we'll move to the next question.
Yeah.
Pain tolerance. Pain tolerance. If the more successful you get, you're going to have to be able to tolerate more pain. And people are not going to tolerate pain, and they're going to just melt and fall down. But if you're able to tolerate pain and learn how to like control it, you're gonna get up here. Because look, people, like I said in the beginning, people see what we have now, where we are now, but they don't realize how much pain I had to tolerate for my wife. I kept a lot of things secrets from her because I didn't want to tell her, like, hey, we're last to our last penny in our bank account. Hey, we have this one that's overdrafted. Hey, we have my credit's fucked up. And hey, I didn't tell her all those things. But guess what? I got ourselves out of it. And it was painful. A lot of the times I thought about, like, should I jump off? Should I just give up? And you know what I did? I just kept fighting. That's why I always talk about that last final inch. Sometimes you're one little inch away from your dream becoming true. So just all of you that are probably right now going through pain, don't give up.
And keep getting smarter and better, guys. Always remember.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jacob.
Hey, what's up, guys? How are you guys doing?
What's up, Jacob?
Hey, so my question for you is, when you're as a millennial, you're in early 20s, are you looking to grow yourself first and attracting the lady into your life? Or do you find someone and build along the way in your early 20s into building that empire?
I wouldn't really worry about it. I would kind of just, you're going to attract whatever you already are. So always remember that. And you'll know more or less when someone's a waste of time or not. And you have to have your priorities straight. And if that person isn't very similar, or their priorities are aligned with you, then it's I know, like, guys like to date and do all this, and so do girls, and we like to waste a lot of time, but that person will eventually come, but you have to be what you want to attract. So I would just work on your mindset, getting smarter, figuring out is that a Driven hat? Yeah. So try not to stress too much about it, because remember, you things come to you when you're not really looking for them. When you're looking, it's more stressful than anything, and I think it also kind of impairs your judgment. So I wouldn't really, just be good, and good will come. Be good, and good will come.
The second part to that question would be, what are your deal breakers for you, Albert? Like, what was the deal breaker for you when you were going through the women?
I'm gonna give you something where me and Patrick are really similar. Is like, look, are you single though?
I'm single.
Okay, perfect. So I don't want to piss off your lady, but dude, one thing you want to do is go try a Russian chick, go try a Puerto Rican chick, a Cuban chick, a short girl, a tall girl, a curvy girl, a skinny girl. Go try every
go sample
every single girl you could go out there and have some fun, but do it responsibly. Obviously, put a condom on, and don't create babies, and don't let it get in the way of your business, because you still have to put in. You should be at least working minimum 16 hours a day. And let's say you work at your job and you give your job 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours. The rest of the time you should be working on self-improvement. How do I become better? So as long as you're not getting in, it's not getting in the way, like create like maybe Friday fun day where a girl comes over and maybe a Russian chick, you take her out, you try to close that night. And then next week, Friday fun day again, maybe you take a Cuban girl out, you try her out, and then you start tasting this different flavors and you find out who you're more attracted to, who you like more. And then when you get married, at least you know, like, you know what? I don't have this regret.
You'll get it out of your system.
Yeah, you get it out of your system, and you don't have to then become a little cheater and be like, you know what? I never had this, I never had that. That's what I did, and it worked for me. That's why right now I'm totally happy with my wife, and I don't have to be like you know, slipping around.
And we still have a lot of sex, which is
yeah, totally. And that's what Patrick did. That's what his dad told him to do. He said, Patrick, go out there and yeah, his dad. He said, try every girl, every flavor, so that you don't have to have like, you're not married at 30 and you're like, oh, I found this perfect girl and I fell in love with her and I married her and I only had sex with 2 girls. You want to, you know, at least be able to be like, at least I was with a Asian girl, you know, a white girl. So maybe it's not the best advice that everybody wants to hear, but
well, he's young,
but it's the reality. It's the reality.
Right.
Like yeah, I mean, totally.
Yeah, totally.
Love
Girls,
it.
don't go
Thank
do
you.
that.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
We got one more? I mean, I'm sure Tony could attest to this.
Okay, well, back to this question. How do you guys support each other when there are disagreements, whether it's business or personal?
We agree to disagree.
And before you answer this, like if you guys like the content, if you guys are enjoying this, make sure you subscribe to this channel, YouTube channel, recommend it to all your friends and family. We're I like to have fun. You know, life is not meant to be miserable and I'm not Mr. Politically correct person. I try to be Mr. Politically correct person, and she used to tell me, Albert, you have to be proper. You can't mispronounce words. You also can't talk about sex, and you can't talk about girls. That's bad. And I was miserable. I was miserable because yes, I'm pretty good. I could impersonate her voice pretty good, but I was like, I was doing that, and I was trying to make 100% of the people happy. I still couldn't make 100% of the people happy.
You're never gonna make
they were
everybody
still
happy.
complaining about my shit. So I'm like, dude, I'm just gonna be myself. And if 10% don't like it, at least I know 90% are gonna like it, and I'm gonna focus on those 90%. But I'm gonna be happy with myself.
Yeah, there you go. He's happy with himself. So agree to disagree. And also remember that you're not going to have to agree on everything. Sometimes I still tell him, I'm like, I'm not posting that. Like, I need to take a new picture for Driven. And today he's like, just post it. I'm like, I'm not going to fucking post it. Like, I'm not. And you can't force me. If you post it, I'll take it down. And we still talk like that to each other because
well, next time I'm not
trust
asking you anymore.
I know.
I'm not asking you.
Anyway, I'm taking new pictures. It's just we're always so busy, but I'm gonna make time, right?
I mean, 90% of your followers are mine anyways.
It's stupid. Anyway, so just, you know,
So you should just let me post it on your page.
And then have your roles. That's important. Because with the kids, I'm like, babe, the other day I had to remind him because he's asking me about this and about that day and who's gonna come. I'm like, no, we already have our nanny and that's what it is. You know, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but I need it for my sanity because the worst thing you can have is me being so busy, coming home from work and having a crazy day, and then I still have to come and clean my house, freaking make sure my kids ate, listen to, you know, things that I don't want to listen to. And a stranger's not going to give you that. And that's why I always say this. If something is working, cool. Keep going until it doesn't work anymore. And that's when with anything in your life, you know, whether it's a relationship, you have to sit there and really look deep and analyze because so many people are so scared of the truth. And we all know what we have to do, you know, and for me, that's been big. And I tell him, this is not your role. I'm handling this. Again, I'm going to be nice, but just trust me. Because if I'm not happy, I can't make him happy. And now it's like our nanny's amazing. Like, I swear, this lady washes. She makes us food. She's amazing. My kids are fed. She makes my baby purees. And again, it's a stranger. I just say, I don't want you to say this. I don't want you to do this. With respect, but it's our kids. And family's never going to respect that. It's how it goes. You know, so I'm like, I want to just go out to eat with family, and then ya se van, and then we're good. Then we're all happy, and we're happy to see each other. They're enjoying the kids, not necessarily a job or a responsibility, right? Because again, I don't allow anybody to do anything for free for me, because I don't need favors from anybody.
It's just
I
like
work so hard.
Like you have a family member, whether it's a sister or a mom or a dad or a cousin.
Yeah.
Like when you tell them, hey, I told you that I wanted it this way. If you use the wrong tone, feelings, people get their feelings hurt, emotions.
It's so hard.
And it's not about that. So like when you hire somebody at work, let's say Michelle's gonna hire her sister, okay, to go help her with escrows, and then Michelle's seeing that her sister's not kind of working fast enough. Hey, I need you to stay focused. Get off your Instagram right now, and I need this. Now look, now we're not closing on time again. The sister's gonna take it bad. Then the sister's gonna get pissed off. Oh, Michelle's a bad person. So when you don't get family involved, and instead of that, like you spend quality time with your family, like, hey, family, hey, sister, brother, mom, dad, whatever, we're gonna go to dinner, and I don't have to boss you around. I don't have to give you orders. We're gonna spend quality time. We're gonna enjoy it. We're gonna be happy, and it's just, I found it to be very hard for like having family and work mixed up.
Yeah.
I think it's better when it's separated. But I mean, it's just based on our experience, and we just say this because we want to help you, and maybe you could save all those hurdles.
Yeah. But just have your roles, and you don't have to agree on everything. You have to find a middle point. It just depends on what it is, but talk about it. Like, so many people are so scared to tell each other the truth, and then just say it. What's the worst that can happen? That's what he always tells me. So we're super open with one another, and that's just always been how we are, because I want to be with him forever, you know, and people go through things. Life throws all kinds of things at you, so you have to be on the same page.
And just something that we do also is, like, for example, Sundays, we block him so that Sundays we could spend time with family.
We try for the most part.
Yeah, and sometimes we're busy, like on Sundays.
Yeah.
We have work, we have other things, we have to travel. But we try to block out Sundays so that maybe Sil's family comes over, my family comes over, we go to dinner. Like sometimes and it's crazy, but we have to schedule it. And it might sound like, oh, that's not how it should be. But what if we didn't have any money? Who's going to pay our bills? Yeah. So we have to schedule. We'll schedule, like, her grandma comes over with her mom and then maybe her brother, maybe her sister. My parents come over with my brother, and we'll have like a lunch with one and then a dinner with another one. And that's what works for us, because we have so much going on, and it's crazy. Like tonight, we might fly out.
We're not flying out tonight.
And then from there, we're gonna fly to Missouri to go see Andy Frisella.
Yeah.
And all these relationships that we're creating are a number one reason why we're here, because we're creating relationships. Remember, if you guys can take something away today, you could be one relationship away from changing your life. Mm-hmm. So always be looking for that relationship.
That opportunity.
And you're not gonna find it wearing a mask staying at home.
Anyway, okay, guys. We love you guys, and remember that it's your life. Don't let anybody tell you how to live it, because people have all the opinions in the world, and they like to make other people feel bad about what they decide to do with their life. And just don't let that. Like, I do not care anymore what anybody thinks. I really don't. I'm like, I'm helping. I'm doing the best that I can, and that's all you need, is to do the best that you can. Right?
Yeah, and remember, guys, if right now you're maybe struggling to get that momentum going, remember that focus on a small win. So a small win, maybe you get a little victory, and then you get another little one, and another little one, and then you get on that roll, and then your little wins start getting a bit bigger, and then all of a sudden you catch that momentum. Yeah. So like maybe you had a horrible day today, and you feel like killing yourself. Okay, so what can you do right now? Something small. Maybe calling your mom and telling her that you love her. You're gonna feel better. Maybe it's you picking up some trash, or maybe it's you like giving a compliment to somebody. So always be looking out for that little tiny win, and you build momentum. And I'll give you guys a tip for the night. Okay, like when you're sleeping, if you're rolling in bed and you catch yourself rolling in bed for more than 10 minutes, even if it's 1 a.m. or 2 a.m., wake up. Just get up and start reading a book, start doing something. And I'll promise you this, since you woke up at 1 or 2, you're going to get sleepy at 6. So you're going to fall asleep 6, 7, 8, and then you're going to wake up early, and you're going to change your day, like how you operate. You're going to start waking up earlier. You're going to start being more productive, and never let any minute go, because every minute that you let pass away on something stupid, it's unrefundable. So really, thank you guys for being here. This is our way of giving back. If you like this, turn on your notifications. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and next Wednesday we will see you again here at our new house with a lot more furniture. Thank you guys.
Bye.